There is a saying by famous philosopher Nietzsche that to live is to suffer, but to survive is to find some meaning in that suffering. The pain of falling down is nearly unbearable. The feeling of having to start fresh from an even worse place mentally and physically can feel just impossible. I've had to deal with mental boundaries my whole life. Growing up with severe depression and various mental disabilities, including ADHD and OCD, has made reaching my general goals difficult. It feels as if my brain is fighting against itself, and this journey I've been through has led me to address this problem at every angle, including denial of my conditions, understanding them, and most crucially, accepting them. Accepting my struggles and failures was something that I oddly learned the most about from rock climbing. While I'm still learning and I'm in therapy groups, I have been able to share my experience and help others with theirs. I've made progress in my life, and I've accomplished more in myself than I thought I could. While you most likely have heard these steps before, you might have brushed them aside like I did in the past. It only took me until I started putting all my effort into my sport, where I found the literal embodiment of learning through failure. I'll explain by first telling you how depression beats you down, then how rock climbing changed my perspective, and finally, how I've associated this with pretty much everything in my life. First of all, I'll tell you about how depression beats you down. When I entered high school, I had my first major ego kick. I did pretty good in middle school, and the struggles of high school hit me pretty hard. I thought I would just kind of automatically do well, but I didn't. It was a huge struggle. And this realization that the structure of school was just not a fit for me came very quick. I had joined this hybrid school in which it was part online, part in person, due to the fact that I was working at the time. And this caused me to kind of mentally spiral. I was suffering in school, and my social life was getting worse. Tasks became more difficult, and my confidence began to sink. My ADHD accommodations didn't work for me, which made me feel like that wasn't the problem. It was really just me, and I didn't really know what to do. This took a somewhat sharp turn when I started rock climbing, my senior year of high school. Rock climbing allowed me to see life in little sections, little tasks that I had to complete. If I wanted to get to the next grade, I would have to attack each wall and complete them. And I could further break that down into each specific climb that I had to do and see where I was struggling in and attack that problem at once. And I found out that even if I sucked that day, I could just work on the thing that I could work on, the smallest part. And as long as I was making progress, I'd come home from the gym and feel good. This became a point of pride in myself. The fact that I knew that I was sucking, but I was gaining strength and I was gaining the knowledge of what I needed to do next time. Failure became a point of pride. Keeping the thoughts of what it meant in my head, I was able to transition that into other aspects of my life. Breaking daily tasks into smaller sections. Seeing things as walls that I can climb over. And not beating myself up. And understanding that every bit is progress. And that I'll heal and get better. And gain strength the next day. I'd like to conclude this with that quote. To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in that suffering. I actually first heard that quote from a video game called Getting Over It. It's a notoriously difficult game about getting over a mountain in a pot with a sledgehammer. Playing that game made me realize my journey with depression, rock climbing, and life. And I hope this speech could possibly spark that in someone else.